Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Tom.
And this is a Park Bench.
And the sun has come out.
Not over there.
A lot of thunder. Let me just show you here, as I keep giving myself an editing job. Just, the sun is out. It looks wonderful over there. It's lovely. And then, thunderclouds. Lot of thunderclouds.
Yeah.
It is, as my parents used to say, a bit black over Bill's mothers. That might just be something that people in, like, Nottinghamshire say. Wherever Bill's mother's is, it always happened to be wherever the clouds were.
Oh, I thought it was a person called Bill Smothers.
Moving on! What are we talking about today, Matt?
Today we are talking about language files-esque stuff.
Yeah, green screen.
And green screeny and
high-edit
doing
productions.
things.
Yes.
Words.
And this is basically off the confetti and snow video that I did.
Oh, yeah.
Because...
You should watch that. That's a good one.
It did really well. Thank you.
I wasn't involved with it.
No, you weren't. That got
It did really well.
That got set up by the lovely team at YouTube.
Okay.
They did the lighting and keying for that, which we'll get on to in a minute. But can I get out the way? I'm not doing any more language files videos, and I occasionally get requests for them, and there are a couple of reasons why. First, the person I collaborated with them on, who is wonderful, Gretchen McCulloch, I actually met up with her. She's from Toronto. She came over to
Have you been doing it all remotely over?
Yeah, never met her before.
Conference call.
Yeah, no, Google Doc.
Okay.
We met up for the first time. She is now spending a couple of years writing a book about linguistics.
Oh.
That is her full-time job.
Yeah, she's not going to want to do any more on top of that,
proper
is she?
publisher advance, which is amazing. I'm so happy for her. Secondly, I'm starting to run out of subjects. But thirdly, there is now a really good linguistics channel.
Oh, really?
Which there wasn't when I
What's
started.
that, Tom?
They're called the Ling Space. They're comprehensively running through everything in linguistics in much longer form than I did. It's really, really good, and I thoroughly recommend if you wanted more language files videos, go check them out. They're lovely.
Cool.
And also, because it takes so long to make a damn video like that.
So there's the part that you specifically see, which is all the graphics that Tom does on top of what we do on the day.
I'll get to those in a bit.
But on the day, we set up in a studio. We use the green screen room at YouTube Space London, and they're always really helpful. They give us a hand setting up.
They're lovely. But it takes time to get that right.
Yes, because lighting for green screen and using an auto cue.
Yes.
Auto cues are fiddly. And lighting for green screen. Computers these days can key, that's the term for replacing green with something else.
Yeah.
I'm crossing my legs.
I'm uncrossing my legs, carry on.
They can key off anything almost, but the quality is diminished if you haven't got a very good background.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that I am very hard to green screen because I have wispy hair.
Yeah. Well, so do I at the minute.
So, you've done a video on how green screen works, haven't you?
No, I don't know how it used to work
Okay.
before computers came along.
Basically, it looks for everything green. We use green because we don't wear green.
Yeah.
And it replaces any green with whatever else. But it uses a specific...
Don't put your teeth in.
One will tell it to use a specific shade of green. And for that to work well, you need it perfectly lit.
Right, and the reason for that is because of things like hair.
Yeah.
If it's easy to get to 90% of the way on a green screen, but that doesn't really look good enough. If you wanted to properly key hair to manage blur when you move and wave your hands, you need a perfectly evenly lit green screen all the way around, or you're going to end up with a load of noise at the bottom.
And
Yeah, I mean, you do that.
And a lot of that is just putting two lights on the side and one from the top of the screen. But then there's a problem on top of that. Light bounces. Which means you've got a load of green light coming off that screen bouncing back at your subject. So, Tom.
Hi.
So, and this is the bit I find hard because I don't do it very often. I'm competent at lighting, but I do kind of blag it still. And the hard bit is to do green screen. Okay, you've got a green, so you've got a good edge, but do it without having a green halo.
Yeah. You've got to have a long distance between subject and green screen. And essentially you have to light them pretty much entirely separately.
Yeah.
Not always easy if you've got a small studio or a small room you're doing it in.
And then if you've got a shiny floor, you need that to be not shiny to reflect any more of that green up under your chin.
Yeah, okay.
And...
Oh my God, that's why my chin kept going slightly transparent. Okay.
Remember I think it was the first series
Yeah.
of that. There was a rug on the floor.
Yeah, there was.
Um,
Yeah. And even assuming you've got all that, you still need to make the lighting on the person in front look reasonable.
yeah, you got to light the person without that light spilling onto the green screen, putting hotspots
Yeah.
on this, and then you need a I can never remember the term, halo light, hair light from
Yeah.
at the top shining back, so then lights the back of the head, so then you got a proper outline of where the head is.
So let's assume you've got all that, and you've actually got a decently lit green screen. All the footage will come in, and hopefully you will click a button and it will key. And it will look okay. At which point you have an entirely transparent background you have to make interesting.
You could put a picture there, but
Yes.
that's going to look
I mean, this is the thing. I've always tried not to be one of those people standing in front of a green screen putting stock photography behind them. Even for the language files videos where that's essentially what I was doing, animate stuff, make stuff happen, put a TARDIS flying behind me at some point, which I had to animate from scratch.
And I think that's for two reasons, I'm guessing. Number one, you're not a weather presenter.
That's true.
Number two, you've got to edit around takes. Now with stuff like...
You're giving away my secrets here.
Tough. With most videos, you get cutaways. So like a shot of that bollard.
Good bollard. Let me get a shot of that bollard for you. We can cut now and you won't know.
So at this point, I could have said anything. I could have said a load of swear words like...
Don't you dare, I've cut away now.
There we go, there was a cut point.
Well-timed rumble of thunder.
So, you don't know what we just said then, but it seems natural because we cut away to something else. You can't, you don't see a jump cut.
Yeah.
When you're doing a green screen shot of one person, you don't have a cutaway, you've just got Tom talking.
You could jump cut it, but... Yeah.
Look out for things flying in front of him.
I actually use that technique. I actually use both of those techniques in the confetti video. There are two cuts in there. One is right at the start when I cut away to footage of a TV show, and the other is when all the tracking markers descend on me. If you actually look at that, my arms completely change position, but you can't see for the forest of flying things that's hitting me.
It's not what you're paying attention to, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Language files, I covered that by swiping something over the screen or popping myself up again or doing a thing. But yeah, the one continuous take videos against a green screen frequently aren't. There is also Morph Cut in Premiere.
Oh.
It doesn't work all that well.
So is that for when you're using plasticine characters?
No one's going to get that joke. No one is going to get that.
No?
So it works if
Oh,
you.
it's not an international reference at all,
it's
is
not.
it?
If you're cutting out an on a head and shoulders shot of one person against a background that isn't moving, Premiere can do a thing called Morph Cut where it face tracks and literally attempts to make it like a natural move. When it works, it is genius.
Oh, it just sort of stretches the bit that moved.
Yeah,
And
no, it
interpolates
actually
it.
does works out how muscles are possible to move and things. It's really, really complicated. It's
Really?
wonderful. But there's the wind. The thunderstorm's approaching now. But if you try that on, say, us on a park bench with a load of stuff moving behind us, this happens. That just looks terrible. So at that point, that's why we use jump cuts and flashes. So assuming you've got all that, assuming you have learned After Effects well enough to be able to do the flying graphics and everything, you are still spending, I think it was 3 solid days on that confetti video, and that is just adding the graphics. Versus an hour for a park bench video, versus 3 to 4 hours for one of my regular channel videos. It would be, I'd want to do an entire series like that, I really do. But it's going to need sponsorship and paying someone to do those graphics.
Yeah.
So, at some point, I'm pitching to a couple of places. If it turns out there's an entire series like that with someone's sponsor's name on it, I hope you won't think too poorly of me. And in the meantime, I'll still do one occasionally. You should talk about audio mixing. You should fit in audio, because studio audio microphones, I nearly screwed up on that last one. Because it sounds like I'm in a cupboard.
With mics. Okay, you want to record the person, so if you point a mic at the person, then you can hear the person. But there's always more than just the person. If we're outside, you've got all this stuff happening, trees, wind, what have you.
And that sounds fine, because we're outside.
Yeah.
That's what people expect. It'd sound unnatural if we had lit mics here.
Yeah. But if you're doing something where you're just seeing the person, and they're just in a undefined space,
Yep.
You just want to hear the person. But the problem is, if you're in a small room, for example, a bathroom, you can hear the room.
Echo.
When you talk, you can hear the echo, you can hear the resonance in the room.
Yeah.
And the microphone, if you can hear it, the microphone can pick it up effectively.
Yeah.
And one of the ways you get around that is the closer you are, the mic is to the person, the more of the person you're picking up.
So let's demonstrate that. I'm over here and I sound like this. Put the mic really close to you.
Hi, the mic is really close to me. So, because I'm louder than everything else around me because it's closer. If I put the mic further away, which there's one of our other videos where we've mounted it on the tripod, you can hear more noise.
Which sounds really, really obvious, but it's not until, and I've done this, you get home from the shoot, you put your headphones in and you go, oh, I can just hear air conditioning and I can't possibly remove that. And it sounds terrible.
And there are different audio processing tools that you can use to get rid of sound you don't want. So there's gating, which effectively you set a lower noise threshold. Mm-hmm. So if this is a chart of how loud things are, if our voices are sort of here in the chart, and then when you're quiet, this is sort of the level of the air conditioner in the room. You can say anything below this, completely turn it off.
But that tends to sound really unnatural and almost, like if you've got that on loud, it can hurt to have the sound keep cutting in.
It's like someone putting a switch on, off, and then it cuts in and it cuts off, and it cuts in and it cuts off.
Or you could do compression on it. Try and lower that a bit, raise that a bit, which is what Matt does for all our videos.
So a lot of dynamic range compression, it makes the loud bits quieter.
Mm-hmm. If you've got noise rumble, like I think there was probably some wind rumble on that, you can do a low pass filter, take anything under a certain frequency out, but then you start sounding tinny, or like you're on old time radio.
There are limits to it. So all the audio from this, when there's wind, I will cut everything below about 100 hertz, 150 hertz.
Yeah.
Because it removes the whoop whoop whoop. You can hear the still, but it gets rid of the most.
Beatboxing there. You've got your whoops and it's...
The bench.
Yeah, so, yes, you have to get your video, you have to get your graphics, you have to get your key, you have to get your audio. And all of that takes so long. But apparently, it gets 1 million views.
Which kind of makes it worth it.
Apparently.
Not just for the numbers, just for the satisfaction that people are enjoying it. And
watch it, enjoyed it, send it to people.
Yeah. And that's why the graphic-y, green screeny videos don't come out too often.
And that's why this comes out once a week.
Because it's always this mic, it's always... yeah, I guess he forgot his SD card for his camera.
Today, we're filming with my GoPro.
Which you just happen to have in your bag.
Yeah.
So it's same equipment. I have a generic preset which I just load and it just works for this audio.
Yep. Although, that said, you realise when we were talking about all that gating, I'm going to have to put those effects on.
Oh, bollocks. Wow, for once you've given me more editing work to do.
Yes, I have.
I deserve it. I made you motion trap my snap code.
Yeah.